Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Motivated Results. So today, as promised, I'm going to be doing a quick overview over the bodybuilding style system I implemented for roughly a year and a half. And I wanted to give you guys a review and my thoughts on it, and basically give you guys something to think about if you're considering something like this for yourself. So in order to help streamline these videos, what I'd like to do is set these up in a 3-video series. The first of which is going to be just the actual program, what I went through, my suggestions, my thoughts on pros, cons, and different things. The second is actually going to be the diet and pros, cons, all that good stuff. And third is going to be more so an overview of this channel and what you have to look forward to from here on forward. So let's get started. So essentially, one of the first things I wanted to start with is the negatives of a bodybuilding style program. Some things to think about, things that you will have to consider if considering doing this type of system. But beforehand, I want to give you guys an overview of what I did. That way you have something to consider when I'm describing these things. First of which is, I did a year of bulking that included roughly 3-4 months of different programs, and then afterwards I just did the remainder of the year. I did a 4-day, actually 5-day split, and then 1 day off, and then I would just continue and roll it over into the next week. If you're curious about the actual workouts, I can make a video about that. Just post below or something. Afterwards, I spent about 6 months cutting because of how much fat I gained because of the diet, which we covered in another video. I'll probably link it somewhere here. That way you guys can just quickly reference it. What my thoughts are, what the negatives are from this type of standpoint. First of all, one of the major ones in my opinion is cardiovascular health. A lot of people when they're bulking or trying to gain mass, they focus more on hypertrophy style workouts, don't really focus on cardiovascular style workouts, which diminishes people's cardiovascular health and endurance. Because of that, also coming in from a very aggressive bulk, you might have a very hard time performing normal daily activities. And that to me is a huge downside to this type of program. An easy fix really would be to just maintain your cardiovascular training within your program and maybe adjust your diet to still maintain bulking goals. Another big issue in my mind is the lack of mobility and stretching that most programs do lack. Because you are focusing on hypertrophy work, you focus mostly on building muscle, building size, and you find yourself getting tight and maybe even developing slight tweaks in your body, or potentially maybe even some injuries, which could, in my opinion, be prevented by stretching and mobility work. Simple fix for this is just included in your workouts. Another negative in my opinion is actually also going to be the lack of proper technique when people jump into these style of programs, because you're forced to think to just progress and get stronger and get better. But in the end, if your technique is lacking, especially on the compound movements, there is a large risk for injury, which will halt your progress anyway. So one thing to think about is definitely to incorporate more technique focused days if you're a noob, or maybe even definitely work on your deload weeks. Focus on just working on technique and making sure that your movement is 100% correct and good for your body. That way you can prevent injury. Another negative I think on a long-term scale is that you're gonna take quite a while to get anywhere near to where you hopefully want to be. This is a lifestyle change, in all honesty. It's not really a new fitness program that you do for 6 months in. This is something that you're gonna have to put in a lifetime of work to gain the muscle mass and also maintain the muscle mass, because once you achieve it, you still need to continue to work out and maintain your diet in order to maintain results, or even, and especially if you want to get better. So it's definitely something that is going to take you at least 2 to 3 years to get anywhere near where you want to be physically, if at all achievable. That in itself is just a tidbit to another video I'll make later on, just something to think about. So let's talk about the actual benefits of these type of programs. Well, first of all, it's a lot more simplistic than doing some of the others. It's just basically going into the gym, putting in the work, trying to get better. You go in, you know your routine, you know what you got to do. All you have to focus on is good technique and getting stronger and lifting more weight. Another positive is that you can visually see the changes, that you can see your strength gain improve, which is hopefully a motivator to continue to bring you to the gym and get more results and get better at what you're trying to do. Another benefit, in my opinion, besides the philosophical comparison that some people make about lifting weights and how that compares to life, another benefit is that life piece, that piece that if you do this correctly and you are able to develop a good frame, a good strong base to move forward into your life, you can potentially stay injury-free living your everyday life. You can lift a box, move things around, and not get injured and avoid a lot of injuries that people often have in their older ages. That's pretty much it, guys. I mean, that's a very, very, very quick overview of the program, of what I think about bodybuilding in general. I have 3 suggestions if you're considering this type of program. One of which, have a mobility stretching time in your program, whether that's daily, whether that's a couple times a week, whether that's whatever it is. Focus on mobility, focus on stretching. The more muscle mass you develop, the more lifting you do, the tighter you'll find yourself, and that in itself will lead to injury in the future. Plus, you don't want to just feel like you're walking around stiff all the time. Have a day of stretch, have a day of mobility, have a day where you just focus on that. At least a couple minutes a day. Anybody can find that if you really try. Secondly, it would be really to focus on technique. A lot of the compound movements, especially for like squatting and deadlifting, take a lot of technique. And my suggestion to you would be to make sure that you have the technique down so that you can stay injury-free as long as possible or forever, so that you can get stronger and better without having to have a halt in your program because you've torn something or hurt yourself in some way. And the last tip, I guess, is more optional, but I really would suggest it, is that you try to incorporate some strength-based routine also within the program, because it'll allow you to get the best of both worlds. You'll get the strength aspect, but you also get the hypertrophy, which will lead to a better look overall. I think sometimes if you have a good mix, a good program that does both 2 in 1, you'll be able to avoid plateaus a little bit, because you'll be able to focus on strength and also have what I would call usable power, where it's something that you can apply in your everyday life and use, because it's not just focused on flexing and contracting and working on tearing the muscle. So it's just a very simple, very quick overview, guys. If you have questions, comments, let me know. I appreciate the likes and the comments recently. I think the channel's grown a little bit, so I appreciate that. Questions, comments, let me know. Keep an eye on the new video that will be covering the diet aspect of this. And that's it, guys. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.